Hey, I'm Bryan DeMain with the AppealDemocrat.com. We're down here with Jack Johnson, Gold Sox manager, for probably our last meeting of the year. Jack, probably always a tough time for you to see all these guys go. You know, you bring them all together. What is the toughest part about this last weekend for you?
Well, I think it is just knowing that on Sunday night after the ball game, these young guys are going to be heading to their programs, and chances are that they'll never play with each other again, or possibly see each other again for a long time, maybe even ever. And you know, that gets a little bit emotional just because of what they've built in the last 2 months. You know, this ball club as well as others in the past, but I think this one more than any, I think, has really come together, and they would do just about anything for each other. And you know, when you do that, when you come together like that in just a short few months, it's real special, and it's a credit to them and what they've done in the locker room.
Is there a motivating factor throughout the season, or is it collective as the season goes along for you as a coach as incentive to return to do the same thing each year over again?
You know, I think that the biggest thing for them is that they are forced to come together. They really are, and if they don't, then it's going to show on the baseball field, and it'll just show in the locker room. And I think that we have such a relaxed atmosphere that it adheres to just being the purest form of a team and the game, and just kind of depending on each other.
Is this a season where you can kind of look back and say, you know, this was a complete positive effort by all the guys, or were there the ups and downs, and were there things that you didn't get accomplished that you wanted to, and things that maybe you didn't think you were going to get accomplished and you did?
Well, you know, my mind is always open every summer because you never know what you're going to get. But 30 wins was a great accomplishment for this team. This is the best hitting team we've ever had, probably in 7 years, all the way 1 through 9. You know, extending through the other position guys. It is a great hitting team, veteran team, older team, kind of a mature team as far as their age. You know, if you got them in the locker room though, and you saw what happens in the locker room, you wouldn't think it was too mature. But it's fun. I mean, they are so comfortable with each other that it's hard not to laugh and enjoy the camaraderie that they've enjoyed. But we've accomplished everything. One biggest thing, Brian, for me is that they're better than they were when they first got here. Each guy's better. They've learned something. They are ready to go to their programs, and I think each one of these guys are ready to lead in their programs, which is very important.
What are some of the stories that maybe we didn't hear about, see about, some of the character guys, or maybe some of the guys that you'd like to touch on just in this last weekend?
The stories, as far as the guys are concerned, you know, the characters. Nico Salatis has been a leader, you know, on the field, but also in the locker room. I tell you, he has a speech for every one of these guys every time they go out to before they take the field. He says something, I'm not involved in that. The less I'm involved in stuff like that, the better. But he has a message for them every night, and that's been a lot of fun. And you know, just some of these other guys. Mark Shannon, who's not with us any longer, he was a guy that came out and played hard. Boy, I tell you, he ran hard to first base.
Probably one of the better hitters that have come around.
This is one of the top players we've had probably in a long time. You know, and just with our pitching staff, we've had some guys that really didn't have a whole lot of success. Sean Burns threw 4 innings at USF and didn't do very well at all. You know, and he wasn't expected to make an impact. And I think, you know, he's got a confidence level now that he can go back and maybe make an impact. So, you know, I can go up and down, and you know, we'd have to have a 30-minute show, buddy, because this has been a wacky but a fun, but also a very talented ball club.
Looking at the last weekend, you guys are all set going up against Morgan Hill. Talk about that team, if you will, and some of the things that you'd like to see out of your guys, a 4-game sweep or whatever it is.
Well, you know, it's funny. The last 4 games, I don't really have to do much as far as motivating them, because they know that these are the last 4 days that they'll play together. So it's been that way for 7 years. You know, four games left. Usually, then they're tired. There's no doubt. They're exhausted. They're tired, and they're ready to go home. But they know that this is at the end, and for some reason, there's a fire they get in their belly to play these last 4 games together as best as they can. Morgan Hill comes in a complete team. You know, they're got a lot of guys that are teammates at their schools back in Morgan Hill, and some of the junior colleges back there. So you'll see a lot of junior college players, well coached, and if we just have to come out and play our good baseball, pitch real well, which we've been doing for the last couple of weeks, and our sticks, I think, are going to come alive again this weekend.
Thanks, Jack. Always a pleasure, and we'll see you next season, all right? All right.